It says irregular because when a weapon is discharged and it comes out the opposite side, it is irregular because, and this is going to be sort of graphic, but it rips open the tissue. So it's not going to be regular. It's going to be an irregular shape. But I also am questioning the size because it looks to me like it says 11 by 16, but that doesn't make sense. And neither does 1 1/16. Susie, did you have something to say or a question?
This is some sloppy work.
Okay, now that my heart has then came back up, and I know your mama don't hate me now.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm gonna crop this and then put it back up. Go ahead, Ashley.
I know her body was placed there. I do. But
she don't know that, but she feels like she knows that. Does that sound better?
do you, in your opinion, do you think there was a struggle of her trying to get away?
Okay, we here
and
to
maybe
go
she
over there.
tripped.
I don't know.
And had that happen since you've been down?
A splash back there from the observation deck. Absolutely.
Okay. Because that came across my mind. This poor woman had to have been, she was struggling. She was trying to get away.
Tony, not a direct face. But, I mean, straight on versus on the side.
What makes me think what?
That maybe it wasn't, that she didn't do it on her own.
Man.
What makes me think that?
Just go over the autopsy. I mean, the
Get off.
To themselves
coroner's report.
Vicious is because when you hold a weapon to your head, you're not going to have it just right. And a woman's hand, normally you're going to hold it up so that it's at an angle, depending upon how long your arm is. She was a very small woman. Look at the trajectory.
And 9 millimeters are not light, especially holding it with one
That's
hand.
what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to show you something. You were messaging me about this, Amanda?
This is probably the most convincing evidence that I've seen yet. And I've got a pew right here, and I'm messing with it a little bit just to kind of figure out how difficult that would be for that type of shot.
It's heavy. They're heavy.
Very, very difficult.
It is, and I agree with Nikki because my husband has took me in the woods because he bought me what she bought. And I'm only 5'2". I'm little.
Well,
I'm 5'9".
Even if you take
it's heavy.
I'm 5'8", and I'm telling you right now, it's heavy.
Yeah. Exactly.
And most people, what do you do when you're at a shooting range?
They teach you in concealed weapon class.
Sorry. We have I live in Arizona, and we're going through a weather.
Well, trying to grasp that trigger. It is very, and even if, so I'm holding the trigger, right? But my wrist is completely cocked. So there's no way that that's going to be a straight fire, I'll say. There's no way it's going to go in crooked, no matter what I try to do. This is probably the best evidence that I've seen so far, Natasha. I think if people, I know it's not loaded, I wouldn't do that, but people need to understand that you're right, Natasha, it's not possible.
So I just saw somebody in the chat say, why were there other people out there and only the man and the fisherman has come forward? They haven't. Okay. All of the people who were out there that day have given statements.
Yep.
But the fisherman is the only person that made public statements. I don't know if she was left or right-handed. The 3 people in the boat have been accounted for. It was a man and a woman and a little girl.
To say they haven't come forward isn't accurate.
Now, this picture on the screen, can y'all see it?
I can see it, Natasha.
This is a 9mm hollow point after it has been shot. This is what the actual round looks like. It mushrooms. Do you see the points? There's 6 of them.
Yep.
A hollow point is made to do significant damage, significantly more damage than a full metal jacket.
A few people are asking what a closed fracture means. That means that it didn't break the skin. It broke the skin.
Yeah, a closed fracture is when the bone does not protrude through the skin barrier. It doesn't matter if it's, a hollow point is going to cause us significantly more damage than a full metal jacket, but it doesn't matter which one you're using. The exit wound is going to be irregular because it's coming out and busting open the area. So it's not going to be, uniform.
And it's probably going to be larger.
It is. It always is because there's more force coming out. So this is the... I am not qualified to say whether or not I think that these fractures are from this pew-pew, but I can tell you that they are possible. Correct, Jesse. Depending on the trajectory
X's, so
of the weapon, the bullet, that is what is going to make all the difference. No, Tata, I do not.
From my experience in following crime cases, there's always definitely the entrance wound is always going to be really clean, and the exit wound will most likely be messy. And there's a part of
you have to think about most of the time pointed or rounded. So when that penetrates the skin, it's going to make like a clean entrance. But when it comes,
because it was flesh to flesh or flesh to
right.
weapon.
But coming out the other side, the force is going to basically burst it open.
Yeah. So I went live earlier, and they said, well, would it cause that other fracture? I said, yeah, just think of JFK.
It's the pressure.
There's literally fragments everywhere.
Well, the thing about it is you don't know where. So, like when the bullet enters, it puts pressure on your skull. It ricochets, and if there's any weak area on your skull, if you've had a previous, injury to your head or whatever, and there's a weak area, then that ricochet is automatically going to fracture that area.
Are the fractures showing front and back, or is that front one on top of her head?
It's hard to tell. Chloe, this report, I'm just going to tell you right now, is the most ridiculous thing I've ever witnessed. Mm-hmm. Whoever wrote this, I want to know what their credentials are.
Something ain't right.
Body graph they fill out, like when you go to the doctor, is more detailed than this thing.
This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen as far as a report about come on. They don't even say the fracture wouldn't have came from her falling from the shot. She fell into the water. If we're going by what they're alleging.
And wasn't she face down?
No, it's not an autopsy, Mama Crow.
So if it was from a fall, it wouldn't have fractured the back of her head.
Okay. So if she fell back, she'd have fell on the bank, and then what? The toothless alligator drug her in and pushed her down the...
Them peoples that was there.
I'm just saying, y'all, there is no logical explanation for this. Brooke, are you wanting to be up here?
And I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to get down so somebody else can get up. And I hate to even say it. It makes me want to puke. It makes me sick to my stomach.
Spit that shit out.
So basically, there's nothing that's going to solve this case and go another direction of she did not unalive herself.
Correct. No, there's no evidence. There's no evidence there. There's no evidence that they got. There's no evidence.
Had you gone over, Natasha, what I had messaged you?
Well, now she is.
No, she already seen it. She already responded. It was.
Nikki.
I don't mean to laugh.
I've seen so many things. I can't remember what I've seen and what I haven't.
I didn't mean to laugh.
All right, Ashley,
no,
I'm gonna put you down because somebody else is trying to come up.
All right, y'all have a good night.
You too.
So I had messaged Natasha about the bruising of her eyes, or they're saying that there's some type of.
Let me talk about that for a minute.
Yeah.
So I have seen black eyes on the side of impact,
Me too.
but I've never seen both eyes with the same type of contusion from a side impact.
Now, have you ever seen it? Have you ever seen contusions like that when it's a quick death, like a self-inflicted wound? Because I feel like these would take time too.
How could
I
they
looked for
be
it.
the same if one side for sure had more impact? That makes absolutely no sense.
So let me talk about that. So you have to think about that when the shot is fired, she's alive. So the bruising is instantaneous. Like it knows it's going there. Do you see what I'm saying? The force
It's
of
shoved there. Yeah.
right. But the issue that I have with that is that the force isn't going to be the same on both sides. Now, maybe if to your mouth, I could see it because the pressure would be pretty equal on both sides.
I would think it's from the pooling of the blood from the wound.
But that's not what
was
this is.
Yeah, she was upside down, so there wouldn't be pooling in the face.
Oh, she wasn't
Unless
face down?
It was face
Well,
down.
it says that there was in the report. It says that the liver mortis was in the posterior.
Where did it say that? Because I didn't see it.
So that
In the written.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
she was on her back, is what you're saying?
well, that's what that means.
Yeah,
Send it to me,
prone is-
Amanda. Send it to me on Facebook real quick.
Prone is face down.
Yeah, prone is face down, but I did not see that. Hold on. Because this is going to change a whole hell of a lot.
What did you say, Promise? What did you say?
Can you send me what says that? Because I ain't seen that.
Oh yeah, it's because we Zab had gotten the thing. Hold on. I'm gonna be real quick.
Hold on. Yeah, because that's gonna.
I have to mute real quick to pull up my live, okay?
That's fine.
Now I'm wondering what way the foot popped up.
Barbara, did you mean to come up here, hon?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I just wondered, does JP have a current girlfriend?
Well, he's been seen out with somebody, but he's saying no.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe she helped him.
Well,
You said there might be
anything at this point is possible.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, Brooke.
Hey.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Yes. I hit 50K followers this morning. I am excited. Excited.
I'm confused on the eyebrow tattoo shading. Is that gunshot, from
No.
the pew shot? Is it blood from that?
It's called ombre. It's a type of tattoo that does shadowing on your eyebrows.
Yeah, they listed every tattoo she had, including her eyebrows.
Oh. You don't know how long I've been trying to figure out if that's bruising on her eyebrows from the
No,
wound.
it's from tattooing.
Okay. Well, that was easy.
I wish every question was that easy.
that's the only reason they're putting any of that on her face.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, because she's got bruising under her eyes as well.
Okay.
Okay, Natasha.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's shy. I had they don't give me enough characters to explain this down there. But so yes, I was trying to join the panel, but to tell you that, like it says posterior liver mortis, but also pay attention to the color. And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Hold on, I'm trying to get. I need to see it. I don't know how the hell I didn't get that.
It says
I'm trying to get it to you. I'm looking for it.
It says it was pink.
What?
Yes, ma'am.
Her body was pink, but it also says that it also
the liver was. It says the liver was pink.
No, it's not saying the liver was pink. It's saying she was pink.
I can't get over there to see it, but no, they.
Sweetie, it says liver, LIVOR, not LIVER.
Oh God, just get me this.
They didn't do an autopsy.
I'm sending it to you, Tasha.
Okay.
Natasha, just real quick, the dates on that's wrong too. Because they said she was in the hospital 2/12. And that's not correct because she reported her car stolen on 2/10. So she would have had to be in the hospital before that because she reported it when she got out. So not even the dates on the thing is correct.
Nothing they do is correct.
The liver mortis also, Natasha, it says it was fixed, if I remember right. I can't pull it up while I'm on here.
No, it's non-fixed.
Non-fixed? I can't remember which one it said. But
I'm looking at it right now.
I'm going to send you the upper portion as well, just give me a sec.
What the?
I have the toxicology. Did you get that?
Somebody in chat trying to start crap named Real.
What in the hell? Wow.
Real Justice?
It just says Real, REAL.
What'd they say?
Wrong Real.
They're telling somebody that they're threatening. Cheever is threatening or some crap.
Cheever wouldn't threaten a pissant. What are you talking about?
my other question, or I guess not question, but perplexity was on these fractures, it just says closed skull fracture. They don't classify it, and then they don't say, or I didn't see it if they did. How do they know? Like, did they do any kind of imaging? Because typically that would be done with autopsy, but they're saying they didn't do an autopsy. But they didn't say if they're there's no classification of fractures.
This is the craziest mess.
You see what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
And if I went to the medical examiner board and read about that earlier while I was listening, and I know a lot of people are asking about it being an RN. Basically, your medical examiner is a pathologist, but in these smaller counties, if it says if they cannot have physicians underneath them, they can use RNs and other professionals also, actually. But also in the state code, it does say that the family could have requested, well, obviously it would have been the husband because he's next to kin, they're saying, but he could have requested them do the autopsy, and more than likely they would have approved.
He should have not requested anything because they were in divorce proceedings.
I know, but
the parents had the right.
So they didn't do any
Not yet.
X-rays. They did take photographs.
I'm just trying to figure out how they came up with that about the fractures if they didn't do any imaging.
There's no rigor. Oh, you got a lot of background.
I do?
Yeah, it sounds like something's running, and like you're outside in a rainforest.
It sounds like frogs.
It's frogs. It's frogs.
I'm like, what in the world?
But the other thing I wanted to, because I was going to go in here last night, but I was just exhausted, was about the FBI. I keep seeing so many people that are newer or asking, like, why the FBI isn't involved, or will the FBI look at this? And I know Bishop got a little frustrated last night with somebody that kept questioning that, but I think people just, for educational purposes, don't understand that they have to, for the FBI to be involved in this particular, in the death, then it would have to be a federal crime broken or crossing interstate lines. Like, they would have to have some sort of proof that something started across the state line before she came over to the state line that she was found in, or it would have been on, the death would have been on federal property, and this is state property. And then the only other way they could have got involved is if the local law enforcement would have requested that, which obviously they weren't going to do that. They didn't ask for the assistance.
Yep.
And it says they're doing a quote unquote parallel investigation to the death, but not, so they're not
investigating her death. No, they're not investigating her death.
Yes.
No, I've said that the last couple nights, and I actually had somebody confirm that for me. No, they are not investigating her death. So this is, I'm just telling y'all right now, this report, Amanda.
Yes.
Shy, I'm gonna mute you for just a minute because it's very hard to hear.
Sounds like she's on a machine over there.
I feel like she's on oxygen or something. This is
Girl, why do you think I messaged you?
I've already been side-eyeing this diagram, but this, the only thing, I'm gonna tell y'all something, the only thing on this that is something,
they want you to pull it up.
no, you can't see it, it's so little.
Oh, I see. Do you want me to read it to them?
Yeah, it says, let's see. It says means of death. It does list the caliber of weapon as a 9mm. Then it says that it was not a work injury. That's basically it on the top part. Oh my God, what did I just do? Then it says, hold on.
It goes on to ask if there's rigor.
Yeah, and then it says there's no rigor.
And then it asks the steps of rigor, because rigor starts really small. It starts in the face, but they're saying there's no rigor at all. But that could also pertain to the water. Because
water temperature.
One thing I noticed is that it says her body was cold. If they found her as soon as they did, she would have still been warm in normal circumstances.
It actually says her body is cool.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is normally your body uses 2 degrees per hour, but I think with the water it probably accelerated the temperature. But yeah, it's saying that there's no rigor whatsoever, but there is liver mortis, and it's in the posterior. And you know what that means? That means that there's pooling in her bottom, which means that was the direction that she was in when once it all started processing. So Angie Brown asked to say it again. Do you want to put your?
Go ahead. I'm just.
Okay. So liver mortis is is normally called, when they find a person, they say, hey, there's pooling of the blood on this part of their body. That means that's the position that their body was in, when they started decomposing, and everything started kind of moving around. So it's showing that she did have liver mortis, so there was pooling of blood, and it's showing that it's in her posterior, which is your backside. So that would mean that, by gravity, she was.
Well, it actually that's not true.
What?
It actually, posterior is not just your back. So
I didn't want to say.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, so let me, because I know somebody's gonna call this shit out.
I didn't want to say like her back.
I know. But posterior is basically the lower part of your body. Which makes absolutely no sense if she was face down.
Did the fisherman, or not the fisherman, I'm sorry, did the kayaker clarify if her foot came up heel first? Or if her foot came up with her toes?
That's a good
Let me tell y'all what this means, okay? What this means is that they said she was found in a prone position. Prone is face down. For her to have had posterior livor mortis, which is also called hypostasis. She would have had to have been standing up or sitting up from the time that she was unalived to the time that the livor mortis took effect.
The lividity alone proves it, just with the gravity, like the way gravity goes. That's why I asked you, like, what do you think about this? And then the eye thing. The eye thing somebody else said in chat. So the eye chat, the thing about the eye, someone said in chat that they know someone who unalived themselves by a self-inflicted wound and they did have bruising. So that one right away goes away. But this one was like, what do you mean you found her face down, but her livor mortis, or the lividity is down under?
So could that like indicate that possibly she was unalived and then maybe carried upright, drug long enough for the blood to go to the legs, feet area?
Okay, so the way that
doesn't happen.
No, the way that livor mortis works is that it happens after your heart stops beating, and all of the blood in your body pulls to the lowest point of gravity.
Right.
So he would have had to have been in that position for a long enough period of time for livor mortis to set in.
At least an hour.
So that proves it right there.
Either that or she was being held upright.
It actually starts to develop within 20 minutes, but usually you can't visibly see it with the colors changing till a few hours after.
Which makes sense as to why this says pink and not.
Right. But it also.
Can you imagine? Having to be, so many different factors. But in just a little span, because mind you, it was 11 something when she left to go to work? And just a matter of a few hours, having all these factors in play that make it to where it's, how can I say, reported that she did it, but it's so many different things that quite possibly have happened instead that aren't easy to prove who did it. Jeez. Okay, so I was gonna finish it out with this one, but I'm running out of storage, so we're gonna have a part. It's gonna just be in parts. That's all. It's 4 hours long, so I don't know what part this is, but we'll stay tuned for the rest. Okay. Wow.